Amaka from Mind of Makus. I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying a good start to your week. This week, I just thought we should talk about creativity. Why not? Because everybody's a creative in one way or another. Last week, we posted a video that talked about gardening and how gardening is good for your mental health. And as a follow-on to that, I realized that so many people have other creative expressions. So many people have other things that they do that are positive and that affect their mental health positively as well. And most of these things kind of fall into the creative bracket. So for you, I wonder what that is. Do you see yourself as a creative? Do you see yourself as somebody that is creative? I remember a few decades ago, I used to say that I wasn't creative. I was only somebody who was academic, and that's not true, because even as a child I did quite well with art. The only reason why I didn't do arts for my GCSEs or A-levels or SSCE was because I had too many subjects I was doing. I had to drop some, and so I dropped art. I regret doing that, honestly. But between that and becoming an adult and becoming a mom, wife, doctor, I lost my creative expression, and I kind of focused on the more cognitive aspects of my learning. And I started to tell myself this story that I wasn't creative, and I know that quite a few of you may have found yourself in similar situations. It's quite common with people that are from Nigerian descent like I am, because academic pursuit is something that is held in very high esteem, and parents often support you in every way to achieve academically, even if they have to pay through their noses. And that's such a good thing, because it sets us up for success in the future. But then the problem with that is that you lose some other parts of yourself, like I did. So the creative part of yourself, which could also set you up for success in the future, is neglected, and very few people get the opportunity to develop that part of themselves. I remember I had a colleague in secondary school. His name was Anthony. We did arts together. This guy was such a natural artist. I wonder if he's still drawing. So when people like us used to do pencil drawings and drawing perspective, we didn't know whether to go down or to go up. He just did it so naturally, like he was a natural artist. Where somebody is 15 years old, and the kind of art that he produced, you can't even mistake what it is he's trying to say. I wonder if he pursued that, because he was also quite academically sound, so he may have leaned towards more academic pursuits. Who knows? I hope you're well. If you're watching this someday, Anthony, I hope you're well. So I thought that we have lots of ways, that we express our creativity. The colloquial or old ways of expressing creativity would be in the fine arts form. So you're drawing, you're painting, you're sketching. But we now know that in so many ways, every day, our lives are a piece of art. The way we live, the way we talk, the way we relate to other people, the things that we conceive from our minds, our ideas, the way we express them. There's only one person that is like you, and you're a piece of art. And I personally believe, as part of my faith, that I'm a co-creator with God. And in this world, which God created so beautifully, I've been put here to also contribute my quota to what is here in the world. And I have the mind of God in me. That's my personal belief. Whatever you believe, I'm sure in some way there's some creativity encouraged in your belief. So things that come to our minds, the ideas that we conceive, how we conceive them, how we put them out to the world, they are all art. They are all art, and they're all a form of creativity. How you decide to raise your child, how you decide to negotiate relationships at work, romantic relationships, all a form of art. Art is life. I think let's agree on that. Art is life. So coming to how you can use creativity for your mental health. If you're in a very kind of structured work environment, like a corporate job, or even a creative job where you have deadlines and tight timelines to work with, you can sometimes lose the part of yourself that is creative and can support your positive mental health. So it's more about delivery, productivity, increasing your output, rather than, oh, I'm thinking about this, let's see where it goes. So I'm going to see if there's a way where in our daily lives we can improve our engagement with the creative. One of the ways that I do that is waking up and making sure that I do some exercise in the morning, however small. I've fallen off that wagon about 8 weeks ago because I became unwell. But I'm going to get back on it. But I realized that when I have that exercise in the morning, getting my, energy up, it carries on throughout the day. It means that I'm in a more relaxed mode. So that my mornings, even though I wake up earlier, is a bit of a slower morning because I've started it out the way I want rather than with things that are pulling me from all different sides. Another way that I found that I can put creativity into my everyday life is reading. If you take 30 minutes while you're having your breakfast to read a book, listen to an audiobook, meditate, pray, read the Bible, read your Quran, whatever your spiritual practice is, to engage in that. That also sets you up because, as I said initially, our spirituality is a creative process because we're constantly evolving our minds, our spirits, our consciousness. And that really informs what we see in our life, isn't it? The thoughts that we generate, such a creative process. The things we engage in, how we engage. If you see somebody walking towards you, your thoughts just start going. Who is he? How is he? Oh, he looks like somebody I know. Oh, does he look? Oh, yeah, that's John. Oh my God, I like his shirt. There are just so many thoughts that go into your mind before John actually walks up to you. It's a creative process. Yeah, it is a creative process. So the sun has gone down. Oh God, that was nice and warm and beautiful. And so yes, back on track. So if you have an opportunity to engage with reading in the morning, meditating in the morning, praying in the morning, exercising in the morning, that's a good start. So slow that morning right down so that you're not running from one thing to the other. And while you're doing that, you find that you're noticing more things in your environment. You find that you are more in touch with your senses. You notice how your house smells. You notice how the bathroom smells. You notice, oh, this light is too bright. I want maybe something a bit dimmer. Because you're not just running through the morning anymore. You're actually experiencing the morning. And when you experience it, then you have the opportunity to create the kind of morning that you want. And that basically affects your day. Can you hear the words create? You're creating your experience in your house. And so things like determining what you want to eat rather than eating what is just available. So if you have like a weekend coming up, maybe as you're watching this video, you're just starting a new week, make a note this weekend. Think about what you want to eat next week. Add that to the shopping list. This weekend, go buy what you want to eat, prepare what you want to eat, so that it is a kind of chilled out process rather than a hurried process. And you can actually plate your food the way you want. If you have like the Tupperware bowls or plates or whatever you want to use to store your food that you take to work or that you eat during the course of the week, you can do it in a way that is pleasing to you. That's another form of creativity, making your everyday experience a creative expression. And so you have your breakfast, you're about to go to work. Some people like to do all this with music going on in the background. That's lovely. Some people like to listen to podcasts. That's another thing that spurs on your creativity. And you find that when you do all these things, the thoughts that you generate become more positive. And that's where I'm going. When you talk about creativity for mental health, the outcome is not to stress you. The outcome is to put you in a calmer place so that you develop and you execute more positivity into the world. Because if you find that you're getting a bit harassed and screaming at people and snapping and just being very irritable, it is possible that your thoughts are coming at you from all sides at really, really great speed, and there's a lot on your mind. But so these kind of things, engaging with your senses in the morning, creating experiences out of your daily life, help you to slow down the thoughts, help you to become more organized in the way you negotiate life. You're not just reacting, you're actually creating the life that you want. And it may not work every day, but I can guarantee you that it will work on most days, and you just appear to be a bit more calm, and your experience internally would also feel much calmer. So you go to work, do anything that you need to do to get to work. The music, whatever, podcast, Listen to things that are uplifting, listen to things that inspire, listen to things that make you think, oh, maybe I could do that, maybe I could use this idea to solve that problem. Engage with material that energizes you, but not in an adrenaline overload way, rather in a calm, beautiful, slow, high energy way. And so you get to work and you're back into your usual 9 to 5, blah 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 blah, or you're back in your creative space, which can be like a table in your closet or your dining table. And so this is work time. How do you infuse creativity into your work time? What are you thinking right now? If you work in a creative space, if you're happy to work in somewhere like Google, then everywhere you look, there's like, oh, beautiful things and quotes and colors and stuff. But majority of the world works in quite drab environments, cookie cutter kind of offices where you can be working in Singapore today and Lagos tomorrow, and there's no difference because same tables, same chairs, same cubicles, same white walls and glass doors, and all that stuff. So when you look around your surroundings where you work, this could be in your home or in a corporate environment, what can you do to make it more stimulating, more sensory stimulating? Could you maybe bring a plant into your workplace? Check with your work policy, see whether that's something that's allowed. Maybe if you can't bring a plant, you can bring a poster, a quote that inspires you, print it out on an A4 paper in colors. You can even make quite as big as you want. Paste it where you can see it if you don't want to share it with your colleagues, or paste it where everybody can see it when you walk into your environment. If you're in a position where you are self-employed, you make the rules, by all means, fill your working area with plants, indoor plants. They brighten up the place, they make everywhere so alive, and they give you that moment of engaging with nature even though you're inside. Because then during your break, you look at, oh, that plant, the leaves are drooping a bit, oh, it must need some water, and then you take your glass of water and you pour some water into it. In that moment there, you're connecting with a piece of nature, a piece of creativity, something that can stimulate something within you. And it teaches you so much about yourself. Yes, maybe you've killed many plants, maybe your office is a plant graveyard because there's no window, whatever. Some of them thrive without light, so keep trying, don't give up. Infuse some color if you can. Paint your office in your favorite color. Your favorite color is black. Have a black wall, or have the blackboard wallpapers. You can actually have blackboard wallpaper and put that in your office, and then you can draw whatever you want, make notes on it and things like that. If your favorite color is pink, why don't you have a pink flower vase on your table? If you can't even paint your walls pink, why don't you have, if your favorite color is yellow, why don't you make a point of buying yellow flowers once a month into your office? These are things that are small changes, and is in keeping with theories, economic theories like nudge theory, NUDGE, Google it, nudge theory. When you make small changes that eventually affect quite a big outcome in your life. These small changes, I'm telling you, you can make. The big ones you can make as well, but let's start with the small ones, just so that you're not overwhelmed and you're not thinking of this big interior decoration capital intensive project. So things like that in your office space. Then now you've walked into the office, assuming it's now inspiring. What else can you do? Sit down, open your laptop, just go straight to the emails. I would not advise that. I would not advise that. My advice is, just as you have the slow mornings, have a slow start to your day as well. Get in maybe 30 minutes before, so that you can get a drink, like a tea or a coffee or pop, whatever it is that you like to drink, or water. Make a to-do list before you open your emails. Decide, these are the things I want to achieve today. Do you see how that works? It means that you're creating the day you want to have. And I know that in most jobs, by the time you open your email, there's a to-do list already waiting for you, because everybody wants something from you. But guess what? The things they want from you now come secondary to what you've written down, so that you now have the advantage of deciding what's a priority and what is not, what's taking up your morning, what's the first thing to do, what's a nice thing to do, and what's a not me to do. You can decide, and in that process you're creating. So creativity is not just art, it is the way you live, it's the way how you do things. And if you're going for a meeting, you're going for a presentation, how do you prepare for that? How do you make your slides? Who do you run things through? How do you take feedback? How do you take criticism? How do you put yourself in the best position to achieve your dreams? That is being creative. And if you ever find yourself in a position where you start to do things differently, and it starts to clash with maybe some of the ways that things are done in your organization, you can always revise it. You can always revise it. You don't have to sacrifice being creative. You just have to be flexible, keep an open mind, and just try different ways of doing the things that you've always done. At some point, something will click. Nobody that has gotten to wherever they got there by trying once. Just remember that people try things over and over again, and eventually they find the way that works for them. And even when it works for them at 21, it might not work for them at 31 or even 32 or even 62. So don't box yourself into the corner of, oh, this works for me, it should always work, because that's not how life is. Yeah. So in other ways, creativity can also help you, in the sense of maybe having a hobby. Like for me, gardening is a hobby. It's something I do to kind of stimulate the creative part of myself. It's something that I do to relax as well. For you, some people do knitting. I really like creative projects that involve using your hands, because your hands are such sensory tools. So some people like knitting, some people like sculpting. Pottery is another one I really love. Wood turning, I'm hoping to do that in sometime in October. I'm really looking forward to it. That's making things out of wood. Some people like things like baking. Some people like cooking. Oh yes, this week Hilda Basi is breaking the Guinness Book of World Record for the longest cookathon. The Nigerian chef that is planning to cook for 96 hours. The world record is 87 hours, and she has broken that record, and she has surpassed 96 hours. She's going to 100 hours now cooking, with breaks in between, but short breaks, 1 hour breaks, 30-minute breaks. It's just amazing. I'm sure for her, cooking started as a hobby, and then it became a career, and then now she's even using it to make people like me talk about her in a video like this, creative expression and how it affects your mental health. Yes, you can do anything you decide to do. Go Hilda, I had to put that in there. Yeah, so some people like cooking as a way to relax. I've seen messages from my colleagues at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and they were like, oh, I've just decided I'm going to make a lasagna because I had such a stressful day, I can't sleep. And they wake up and they make the lasagna, and it just kind of helps them to just get rid of all that pent up negative energy. Or maybe you had an argument with somebody, or you and your partner are not getting on at the moment, and you need to burn some energy. Yeah, pick up a hobby, pick up something that involves another part of yourself, so that you're not in your head too much. And for some of the people that I work with that are mentally ill, it's really, really helpful to have something else to think about and get them away from fixating on life after hospital. So the occupational therapists usually engage them in things like cooking competitions, art competitions, decorating competitions, gardening, dancing. Oh yeah, I used to have this dance class I used to go to. It was really nice. It was Zumba, but it was so fun. Yeah, so things like that, they get you going, and you realize that over time engaging with these things, you become more confident, you build resilience. In some cases you become more fit. It affects your sex life because your libido increases, just because you have these good hormones raging inside you. You become more sociable, a more pleasant person to be around. Your productivity goes up, and as a result, you're even looking more into healthier living habits because you're doing things that you enjoy. You want to live long to enjoy life, so healthier living habits, longer life, better relationships, good boundaries, you don't find yourself being lonely and engaging in toxic relationships just because you don't want to be lonely, because now you have so many things that you want to do that excite you, so many things that that stimulate your senses. And this is something that is really important, especially when we talk about moms. It seems like there's no time to do anything else apart from care for these children and keep the home and just survive. And I get it. It's happened to me as well. But then I made the decision to turn it around. I made the decision to see life differently. I made the decision to inject creativity into my everyday, and it did not happen one day. It started slowly. So whatever change that you can make today, if it is waking up 30 minutes early so that you have 30 minutes to have your coffee to yourself without anybody talking to you, the house is quiet, you can put on a soft dim light, go into the living room before the kids wake up, have a coffee, have a toast. That's your creativity for the day. Read a book, pray in silence, or stay up late after they've gone to bed to do some coloring, to do some gardening. There are many times when my older one was younger, when he goes to bed, I'll wake up at like midnight or 1 a.m. and that was the time I used to do my gardening. So my gardening used to be mostly inside the house and not outside the house. I would just spread like newspaper on the kitchen counter, and I would put seeds in and soil and everything and plant. And then another time, if I needed to water, I'll put a tray on that and water all the plants, put them in the sink and water them. So just finding that time every day, every single day, because when you neglect it, it starts to feel like you're neglecting yourself. And the more you neglect yourself, it's such a downward spiral, because you start to sacrifice so many things. As I've said, everything that you benefit from it goes. Your confidence, your libido, your sociability, your academic achievements, your productivity, your ability to do well at work, your ability to function as a member of society. So I would say hold on to the creative parts of yourself. Hold on to the parts of yourself where you vibe. And I just remembered I had this friend that used to bake, and if you're watching this, start baking again. She used to bake so often when I met her, and then she becomes a mom and then she stops baking. No time, Amaka, no time. I'm telling you, you have time. You have time. You're just using it to watch Netflix or look at Instagram or look at Facebook. You have time. 15 minutes in a day is not too much for you. Take it as my time. Put it in your Google Calendar. Put it, set an alarm. Tell Alexa, remind me at 7 p.m. every day to take a walk for 15 minutes. Engage with that creative life. Engage with just taking control of the things you want to do with yourself and your time. And I think this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because I have lived from the point where I lost it to the point where I'm getting it back, and it's a continuous journey, and I'm hoping that we learn together. So if there's anything that you do that helps you to feel that balance, to feel that confidence, that boost in this is who I am, to get that vibe back, share in the comments. And as usual, please subscribe. It really helps when you subscribe. Let me tell you why it helps, because social media is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and we really need to make sure that good information is what goes viral. It's a responsibility, really. I take that as a responsibility that genuine, factual, inspiring information goes viral. And how does it go viral? How does it get to the people that need it the most? By you subscribing, by you sharing, by you commenting, by you asking people to watch. And I really, really appreciate it, because so far we've had quite a few people do that, and I just want to say thank you. Keep doing it, and I'll keep trying to make these videos. Take care of yourself. Yeah, bye.